Stay. In this video, I will have to clear the shortage of this lesson in me. The first question is, who was Sadao? Where was his house situated? So Sadao was a famous Japanese surgeon and scientist. His house was situated on the Japanese coast. Why was Sadao sent to America and why he was later kept in Japan? Sadao was sent to America to study medicine and he was later kept in Japan as the old general might anytime need an operation. Sadao was the only doctor whom he trusted for his health. Now the third question, who was Hana? How did she met Sadao? Hana was wife of Dr. Sadao. She met by chance Sadao at American professor's house in America. Now fourth question, what did Hana and Dr. Sadao see out the midst of what did they think? So Hana and Dr. Sadao saw something black came out of the mist. They thought that he was perhaps fisherman. Now fifth question, who was the wounded person? What was happened to him? The wounded person was an American soldier. He was badly wounded. He was shot on the right side of his lower back. There was a gun wound and it was also reopened. What did they do with that wounded man? What was his condition? They took the wounded man to their house for the treatment. He was bound and his gun wound was reopened and it was bleeding. You can say that his condition was very critical. Who was Yumi and what did she say? Yumi was the caretaker of their kids and also maid in Sadao's house. When she was asked to wash and clean the wounded soldier by Hana, she refused to do it. Who washed the American soldiers and why? Hana herself washed the American soldier because Yumi had refused to wash a white man of America. How did Dr. Sadao operate the white man? Dr. Sadao or gave the American soldier anesthetic. Dr. Sadao felt that a bullet by the tip of his instrument. After this, he took out the bullet with cleanest possible manner. How did the young man wake up? What did he say first? The American young man woke and his blue eyes so terrified when he perceived where he was. He also asked Hana how she knew English because in Japan nobody could speak English, American English. Now next question, what did servant say and how did they react? Servant looked upon American as their enemies. As Japan and America were at war, their master, Dr. Sadao, had decided to treat him, so they decided to leave the house. It means that they had refused to work in the house. Next question, why did messengers came to Dr. Sadao's house and who sent him? The messenger came to Dr. Sadao because he was called by the general as he was pain in again. Who was the general? Why did he call Dr. Sadao? General was an old selfish general of Japan. He was very cruel. He called Dr. Sadao as he needed his service. He was again in pain as he was under his treatment. You can say that Dr. Sadao was his personal doctor. Next, what did the general promise Dr. Sadao? What had happened then? General had promised Dr. Sadao that he would not left him he would not let him come in trouble. He would send Asians, killer his house, and they would kill the American soldier. But they knew the news came and the doctor, but they never came, and Doctor Sadao had to manage himself to get rid of the problem. Next question here. What happened on the third night after the planning of killing the American soldiers? On the third night, as they had to come his house, but the wind changed to quiet rain, and the garden was full of the sound of raining. He had slept, but he woke at the sound of crash and tried to go to the room of American soldier, but his wife Hannah checked him, but the American was there next morning. Next year, what did Dr. Sadao think to get rid of the soldiers of enemy country? Dr. Sadao thought a plan to get rid of that soldier of enemy country, as he decided to help him get away in his boat. He also put sufficient provisions in the boat. What did the white men, the American soldiers, think of Dr. Sadao? The American soldiers thought that Dr. Sadao saved his life. He thought humanity is over nationality. He thought that humanity is over nationality. If everybody thinks like this way, there will happen no war. Why did the general have trust on and closeness in Dr. Sadao? The general had trust and closeness in Dr. Sadao because he was ill. He might have faced operation. He did not trust any other doctor except Sadao. Why did Dr. Sadao saved the life of the war prisoner, an American, being a Japanese doctor? This question was 19. Answer here. Dr. Sadao saved the life of the war prisoners, an American, being a Japanese doctor, because he was a doctor and his profession promoted to save the soldier's life. If you are a teacher, you will have to teach every student. What was Dr. Sadao thinking standing in the veranda of his house at last? Dr. Sadao was thinking standing in the veranda of his house at last. The professor, his wife, old teacher of anatomy, and his landlady. Was Dr. Sadao a traitor or a patriot? Explain. Dr. Sadao was a patriot. As a doctor, he saved the life of American, and as a patriot, he wrote a letter to the officers about the American soldiers, and although he put it in his drawer and never showed to anybody. That's all for this period. I have solved 21st questions of the lesson the enemy. That's all for this period. If you like my video, like and share my channel.